20 simply iconic fast Fords. What price a near-perfect Ford Escort RS 1600 die? Over £46,000, reckoned the winning bidder of an immaculate example up for auction last year with Silverstone Auctions. Classic fast Fords often reach heady prices, but that's only a reflection of the cult following these cars command. From the Fiesta ST to the GT40, we've picked 20 of the Blue Oval's greatest hits. Do you agree with our choices?
Ford Sierra RS Cosworth.
The Sierra RS Cosworth has grown old disgracefully. And we mean that as a compliment. Its huge rear wing helped make it an icon for the max power generation. In fact, the Cosy was bred for motorsport, winning the World Touring Car Championship in 1987. Get this, with its 207 horsepower 2.0-litre turbocharged 4-pot was boosted to 227 horsepower in RS 500 versions.
Ford Escort RS 1600.
After the in-your-face attitude of the Sierra, the 1970 Escort RS 1600 looks pretty understated. But beneath the bonnet you'll discover a 16-valve Cosworth-tuned engine. The plain Jane RS 1600 also boasted stiffer sports suspension and a stronger, seam-welded body. It formed the basis for one of the most successful rally cars ever,
Ford Fiesta Street.
Fast forward 5 decades and the Fiesta ST is proof that sporty Fords haven't gone soft. This is the 2013 version, with a 182 horsepower 1.6-litre engine good for 0 to 62 miles per hour in 6.9 seconds. That's less than a second shy of the Sierra RS Cosworth. Forget straight line speed, though. It's the way the Fiesta ST goes around corners that makes it a classic in waiting. Few sports cars offer so much fun on a twisty road. This is the current, 2018, model, which features a 200 horsepower 3-cylinder engine and racetrack driving mode.
Ford RS 200.
Ugly, explosively powerful and intimidating to drive. The RS 200 is the automotive equivalent of a pit bull terrier. Designed to meet Group B rally regulations, only 200 were made. The RS 200 never quite delivered on the rally stage. But a mid-mounted 1.8-litre turbo engine, lightweight fiberglass body and 4-wheel drive make it fearsomely fast on the road.
Ford Escort Mexico.
Ford wanted to capitalize on the Escort's hard-fought win in the 1970 London to Mexico rally. Thus, the Escort Mexico was born, with wide wheels, sporty graphics and a perky 87 horsepower engine. Mexico owners across the land replicated rally-style cornering techniques on wet roundabouts. And Ford learned that an affordable performance car could bring in big profits.
Ford Focus RS Mk1.
You could argue that imperfections are what give us character, and the original Focus RS isn't lacking in either. This feisty 215 horsepower hatchback makes you work for its rewards. On the outside, gaping air intakes, 18-inch wheels and a rear wing shout about this Ford's, fastness. Its interior is even less subtle, with racing-style bucket seats and blue trim.
Ford Focus RS Mk2.
The Mk2 Focus RS turned it up to 12 with bulging wheel arches, a cozy aping wing and optional fluorescent green paint. This is the run-out RS 500, one of 500 made. Unlike the third-gen Focus RS, the Mk2 channeled all its horsepower. 305 horsepower in the standard car, 350 horsepower in the RS 500, through the front wheels. Even so, it's more civilized to drive than the wayward Mk1, yet still blisteringly fast.
Ford Cortina Lotus.
More commonly referred to as the Lotus Cortina, this sharp-suited 3-door saloon was driven to victory in the 1964 British Touring Car Championship by Jim Clark. It won the European title the following year. British sports car maker Lotus fitted its own 107 horsepower 1.6 twin-cam engine to the Cortina, along with lightweight aluminium body panels. Most were painted white and green, as seen here.
Ford GT40.
The Lamborghini Miura is widely considered to be the most beautiful car ever made. But the original Ford GT40 ran it pretty close, especially in iconic blue and orange Gulf livery. The GT40 was built with one purpose in mind, defeating Ferrari on the racetrack. This photo is from the 1966 Le Mans 24-hour race, where the Fords finished first, second and third. Job done?
Ford GT.
How do you follow one of the best-looking cars ever made, with a car that looks very similar, of course? Ford has built two subsequent generations of GT. This is the latest model, which finished first at Le Mans in IMCT Pro class. Exactly 50 years after Ford's 1966 triumph. Just as its ancestor frightened Ferrari on the racetrack, so the GT skiers established supercars on the road. With a 656 horsepower twin-turbo V6, it hits 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds and won't stop until 216 miles per hour.
Ford Escort RS Turbo.
If you visited a McDonald's car park back in the 1990s, chances are you will have seen one of these. Fast and flash, the 134 horsepower Escort RS Turbo ticked every box for budding boy racers. The original Series 1 RS Turbo was only available in white. Later Series 2s, as seen here, were sold in other colors. Both offer plenty of raucous, old-school charm.
Ford Escort RS 1600i.
The 115 horsepower RS 1600i isn't as quick as the RS Turbo. But what it lacks in power, it makes up for in cool factor. Only 8,569 were made, and few survive, earning this Escort maximum points from Ford fanboys. Like many of the greatest fast Fords, the RS 1600i was bred from motorsport. It had a close ratio 5-speed gearbox for rapid acceleration. The equivalent X-Ray made do with 4 speeds.
Ford Sierra Sapphire RS Cosworth.
The Sierra Sapphire looks subtle by fast Ford standards and doesn't have the cult status of its 3-door cousin. That makes it more affordable to buy used, especially compared to BMW Mies and Mercedes-Benz 190s of the same era. The Sapphire started life with 207 horsepower in 1988, then got an upgrade to 223 horsepower in 1990. At the same time, a 4-wheel drive version arrived. It set the template for the Subaru Impreza turbos and Mitsubishi Evos that followed.
Ford Escort RS Cosworth.
Nope, nothing low-key about this one. The Ultimate Escort resurrected the Boeing spec rear wing of the original Sierra Cosworth, along with muscular wheel arches and hungry bonnet vents. This car meant business. Under the bonnet, the Cosy has a 230 horsepower 2.0 turbocharged engine driving all 4 wheels. Get past the turbo lag and it's a very quick car. Fun fact, Jeremy Clarkson spent his own money on one.
Ford Capri 2, 8i.
Most versions of the Capri don't merit the title Fast Ford, but the 162 horsepower 2.8i is decently quick. Ford's Special Vehicle Engineering Department also tweaked the suspension for better handling. The Capri 2.8i was launched in 1981 with a 4-speed gearbox. A 5-speeder arrived soon after. Its top speed of 130 miles per hour was impressive for the time.
Ford Mustang Shelby GT500.
The 2020 Mustang Shelby GT500 is Ford's most powerful road-going Ford ever. Its 5.2-liter supercharged V8 produces 760 horsepower and 625 pounds-foot of torque, more than the GT supercar. The Ultimate Mustang is surprisingly sophisticated, with a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, 20-inch wheels and bespoke suspension. Sadly, it was never officially imported into the UK.
Ford Escort RS 2000.
Not to be confused with the MK5 RS 2000 of the 1990s. This early Escort is highly prized by Ford fans. A hot hatch without a hatchback, its 2.0-liter engine offers lively performance. The RS 2000 looked the part, too. It boasted lowered suspension and wider wheels, plus optional bonnet stripes. The MK2 version here could hit 62 miles per hour in 8.9 seconds and a top speed of 110 miles per hour.
Ford Sport Car.
A controversial choice now. The 94 horsepower sport car won't win any traffic light Grand Prix, but it's nimble and fun to drive. Its secret is suspension shared with the Puma coupe, plus sharp steering and a snappy gearbox. Ford got the styling of the Sportcar just right, with great details such as a reversing lamp that resembles a center exhaust. A convertible version, the Streetcar, was endorsed by Kylie Minogue.
Ford Focus Street.
We now know that Ford won't make a fourth-generation Focus RS. The project killed by corporate CO2 targets. That leaves the ST atop the current Focus range, but it's a worthy flagship. Peak power of 280 horsepower at 5,000 revolutions per minute means 0 to 62 miles per hour in 5.7 seconds. Driving the Focus ST in 2019, it has to work as a daily driver, a school-run shuttle, a family hold-all, and it does all of those with a similar breadth of abilities to the benchmark Golf GTI.
Ford Racing Puma.
We end our smorgasbord of fast Fords with the Racing Puma. Its swollen, wide-arched bodywork was hand-built by Tickford and only 500 were made. The Puma's 1.7-litre engine was tuned to 157 horsepower, although it never actually went racing. The sportiest Puma boasted big brakes and a limited slip differential. It'll cost you several times as much as a standard car, but future classic status is assured.
Well, that's all, folks.
That's my line.
Step aside, babe. Let a star do this. That's all!
That's all, folks!